Good morning for everybody. So who went to the party yesterday? Oh, I'm proud of you guys. But did you drink or? No, that guy drank, okay. Yeah, the first, like, when you go to conferences, like, the first thing that you learn is that, like, you shouldn't do the first talk of the next day after the party. It's a hard thing, but yeah, I'm here today. Yeah, we will start this talk and like to think about how cinema and code are alike. And to begin it, I would like to just introduce myself quickly. I am Rodolfo, and I work for Outfittery, and this is my Twitter handle. Like, if you have any questions, you can like send me any message there or give some feedback about the talk later. So, but first, to give some context to you, I would like to invite everybody here, even the people that went to the talk, to close your eyes, to the party yesterday, like, and to close your eyes. Close. I can see if you are with the eyes open. And now you think about the 3 favorite movies that you had when you were like in your childhoods or when you were like 15. And then with those 3 movies, you think about what was the most interesting thing about those movies for you. Now you can open your eyes again and tell to the person closer to you which movie it was like favorite for you. Yeah, you didn't. And now, like, did someone have like the same movie in common? Yeah? No? Ah, boring. But for me, like, those 3 favorite movies I had were Edward Scissorhands, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and Pirates of the Caribbean. And the most interesting thing for me across those 3 movies was how this guy, Johnny Depp, could change himself across the movies. And he was like the same guy, but from a movie to the other, he had a different behavior. He was totally different, like in the looking. And it was like super crazy for me to understand, even when I was a kid, that they were the same guys. And it was like a shock for me after. And to give some context about the talk, I will start with a true story. This is Bruno. And for the people that don't believe that's a true story, he's there, like, taking the picture now. And Bruno is a developer that works with me, and his main responsibility is to build and maintain one huge app. And this app is, like, really important for different departments in the company, because it has a lot of different features, and like each feature has one really big responsibility. And after some time working on it, Bruno found out that was really difficult to maintain it. So he did some research, and he found out something called micro frontends. That would be basically take all those responsibilities that this app had, and now break into smaller apps that would be easier to maintain, and it would be, I don't know, it would make Bruno happy again. And after some time working on it, he found out that he was basically repeating himself a lot, like writing the same piece of code across the applications like 2, 3 times per week, and each time that he wrote it, basically he had a different approach how to write the code. And another point was that even that the applications, they belonged to the same ecosystem, they didn't show it. They were with a different, totally different looking field. And they looked like twin brothers, but from different parents. And that's the point when I want to introduce you to Sebastian. That's a really like cool guy, and he said like, you know, Bruno, I want to help you, so I will do some research too, to find somehow to solve your problem. And he found out something called StyledComponent, where he could use this CSS and JS feature and create one UI library to share across the applications, and then use an NPM package to share, just like this. And as we were using our React ecosystem, it would be like easier to create and use the styled components. And that's the time that's the point in the timeline when I joined to the group and started working in the project. And today we wanted to share with you like the output of it. We worked for a while on it in a private package, and we have been using it for 6 months already in our applications. And we just decided to share how we did it, why we did it, and to share like how we solved the problem that we had. And another point, Bruno was happy again. So when we decided to call it by Luna UI, and again, it's the output of our job together. And like 3 points that I always ask to myself before I start using any open source project is, how is it built? How to use it, and of course, what are the benefits about using it? And those are the 3 points that I wanted to share to you today. The first one, how is it built? As I told to you before, we were using already React to create our apps. So when Sebastian came to us and said, I heard about styled components, we did some research and we found out some other options too. Styled components, Glamorous, Emotion, and Fellow, for example. But we didn't have any experience with any of those. But Sebastian, he had some experience with styled components already. So we decided to go with styled components, and also because the community was more active in this project. And when you start something that you don't have like such a big background, most of the times you need the help from the community to solve your problems. So we went to styled components, and we just used like Jest to write the unit tests and make sure that everything is working properly. As I told you, like we had this problem that we had, 4 different applications, and we wanted to reuse the same components, but we wanted to have somehow the different theme for each application. So that was like basically the feature that we most used in styled components, like to create different themes for each app and make sure that the only difference that we were having from one app to the other was like the looking field, like the colors, the color scheme. And how to use it, it's super simple. When I went to publish this package, I actually found out that someone created a package called Luna UI, like 1.5 years ago. And he did only one commit in this project, like init, and that's all. And I talked to the guy, but actually I think he doesn't use anymore like the account, so it's there like blocked. So we called it by Luna UI lib, and it's super simple to use. Oh, it's there. Oh, it's there already. So we have, just a second. Mirror displays, yes, this is it. So I have this project here. It's just the React generator, like for apps. And the only thing I need to do, like the first one is to run this one. Is to run like yarn add and Luna UI. Luna UI lib, but I had installed it already. And another thing is like when you want to use the components we had, not this one, this, you just need to import the modules. But the module that's more important is from the module that's more important is this guy here, because it will provide all the theme definitions to the components that are inside of it. And you need to wrap it in, like, out of the components that you want to use, just like this. Turn on. Not like this. What's wrong here? So who has a ES linked in mind, like in the head? Sorry? Oh. But this one, yes. Actually, it's this one here. Yeah, like the only thing, the only thing that you need first is to add to import the theme, because this guy will provide to you the properties inside of your components. And now, for example, if you want to use a button, you just need to use, for example, to import, for example, the button here, and after that you can just use it and define, for example, the kind of the button that you want and some configurations like click actions and those kind of things. In this example here, I'm just moving this guy, like this content here, inside of a modal, and adding one button, this one. Yes, this button here. And when you click in the button, it will toggle the modal to true, and if the modal is active, it will show the modal or not. And it will work. Yeah, it worked. And the thing that I mentioned to you about the themes, like, for example, we had not only like, we don't have only like two components like button and modal, of course. So we created this huge page with all the components that we had in the library that were available for us, like that are like buttons, badges, tooltips, and like images, render, a lot of things, like the model again here, model 1, model 2, yes. Tables, a lot of things, but the point I wanted just to mention to you is this theme property here. We have this, I have this first theme called nodes and this other one called custom. And it's basically one JSON file with some definitions of color, like primary, default, sussex, and it will build for you all the theme basically. So for example, if you change here to custom, it will change also like how the looking field for the applications, for example. And yeah, we wanted to improve it because, I don't know, it was really hard to maintain. So now we are basically migrating everything from this page to Storybook. And like it will be published today, I think. So we have all the same components here with the variations and those kind of things. So you can test it and then just copy the code from here, for example. And this. What are the benefits about using it? Just a second. So what were the benefits of it? Like the first thing we found out was that it was super easy to maintain all the UI components we had created. Like because now we don't have like the same component 3 times in 3 different applications. We have only one source of truth, and we are sure that every time that we change it, we will test everything and everything will be working properly, because of course I don't want now to break 5 different applications at the same time. And the code quality was increased a lot with that, and the UI consistency. And do you remember about this thing? This other thing, just first. This is one of the screens that we just created to show here. And it's like basically a user information with some components. But when you found out that the only thing that we needed to create for this specific application was the titles here, for example, because all the other things were components from our library that we reused in other applications, for example, like tables, buttons, context menu, badges. Everything came from the UI library already. So we didn't have basically any work to do with those guys, like hand work. Of course, we did some work. And do you remember about that thing? I mentioned it before about John Deb and him changing himself a lot. We could do the same thing and create different applications with different looking fields, but using the same components, for example. And where you can find it? It's hosted in this packet, in this repository here, and you can install it by using like Luna UI-lib. Don't forget about the dash. And that's all. Thank you a lot for coming here today.